2005 through 2010 Honda Odyssey side engine mount replacement. I'm Brian Essick from How to Automotive, and I'm going to walk you through the steps of replacing that. To remove the top engine cover, and to do this, you're going to take a flat blade screwdriver, turn the clip here a quarter turn counterclockwise, quarter turn counterclockwise. Then you'll grab on the left and right side and pull upwards, and then you'll move towards the back and pull up on the left side, and then pull the cover off and out. So the side engine mount is right here underneath the power steering pump. To get started, we need to pull the power steering reservoir out of the little bracket here. You can put a little screwdriver right here and give it a little pry and then pull upwards. And then you can just push the reservoir out of your way like this. Next, we're going to pop the little cover that goes over the PCM by squeezing this little tab here and then pulling the cover out and off like this and setting it aside. Now you're going to need a floor jack and a block of wood, and you're going to roll it under the car and place it on the oil pan. So you'll jack it up until it's just touching the oil pan, making sure that it's not catching the subframe. Now I'm going to remove the 10mm bolt from the little bracket here and the 10mm bolt right here. So now looking down from the PCM, there's a little electrical connector. You're going to pry this little tab up, and then you're going to put your finger on there and pry the electrical connector off the little bracket. Now with the connector off the bracket, you can get to the 10mm bolt right here. I used a long extension. Now that you got the 10mm bolt freed down there, you're going to go up here and pop the little AC line out of the little clip right here. With a long extension, you're going to go at an angle through the AC lines here. So I got about an 18-inch extension here, and I'm going to go right through here. And there's a 10mm bolt kind of at an angle like this. And you're going to remove that bolt. After you get that bolt out, the PCM and bracket here are free now. I'm not going to unplug the PCM. I'm going to leave it all attached and just move it around and get to the bolts that I need to get to. So right below is a 10mm bolt. You're going to remove that. And then you're just going to keep maneuvering the harness out of your way and get to the 17 on the side and the two 14mm bolts here up the front. There's also going to be this little bracket here that holds the wire loom down that I'm going to unbolt. It goes on top of the motor mount. So once you get that unbolted, then the wire loom moves around a little bit better. Now I'm going to remove the large 17mm bolt that goes through the center of the mount. Looks like this, and then set aside. And make note of the counterweight, how it was positioned when you took it off. Now I'm going to lift the computer upwards and pull it towards me, and then that is going to give me access to get to the bolt right here. Now with a long extension, I'll take the two bolts under the power steering pump off, and then you can pull the aluminum bracket out, so you'll just maneuver it out like this. Now at the bottom of the motor mount, there's going to be a 14mm bolt there and there that we need to remove, and I'm just going to use long extensions to get to those. Okay, after removing the two bolts, now what I'm going to do is just maneuver the PCM or computer out of my way and reach down here, and the motor mount is free, so now you're just going to maneuver the PCM back, forth, left, right, whatever you need to do, and lift the motor mount out of the car. As you can see, I'm working it out. It takes a little effort, but it'll come. Now that the motor mount is out, I wanted to show you the motor mount that we'll be reinstalling. I'm using factory parts. I've tried aftermarket mounts and they have vibration issues and stuff like that, and I end up doing it over again. So I recommend factory parts. I will leave a link in the description. That way if you need to pick those up, you can get those there. Now I'm going to take the new mount and feed it back down into the position here. If you lift the computer up and back towards the firewall, it makes a better gap where you can put the mount in right through here. So I went ahead and put the new mount in position, and now I'm going to start the lower bolts. I will leave the bolts loose until they're all three started and then tighten them. Now you can take the aluminum bracket and reposition it over the mount. And I like to use the floor jack to jack the engine up or down to help line up all the bolt holes. The height difference may be different due to the mount being new. Then you can go ahead and restart all the bolts. Now that you got the two 14mm bolts, you can reinstall the larger 17mm bolt, and remember how the counterweight went, and go ahead and tighten that up. But leaving all three of the bolts loose until they're all started will help aid in lining up all the bolt holes. That way you have a little bit of free play. Now that you got all three of the bolts started, go ahead and tighten them all down to make sure they're secure. Then you can roll the floor jack out. Now you can resecure the little bracket that held the wire loom on with the 10mm bolt. The little PCM bracket right here is slotted. So what we can do to aid in this is put the bolt back in right here that came in from an angle. Go ahead and just start out a few threads, and then we can slide the bracket underneath that 10mm bolt and washer there. And then once it's all in position, we can go back through the side and tighten it up. So I'm going to lower the PCM back in, and then if you look back through here, you can see that little slotted bolt I was talking about. We're going to slide that underneath there, and once it's slid underneath like this, then what we're going to do is start the other two bolts in the corners. So we'll start the bolt here, and then right here on this little bracket next to the AC line, we'll start that bolt right there, and then we'll pop the AC line back into the little clip. Our long extension go through the AC lines and tighten up that bolt at the angle. Now that those three bolts are tight, we can go ahead and move the wiring harness out of our way here and start the 10mm bolt that's down here at the bottom and tighten it up. Now you can take the PCM cover, slide it back into position, and make sure the little tab right here hooks back into its little slot where it goes, and just make sure it's resecured. There's also going to be one on the side here. Now we can take the power steering reservoir and slide it back into its little mounting bracket here. You just line it up and push it down until it clicks into place. Now we're going to reinstall the top engine cover by lining it up. You'll push it on in the back, and then in the front you'll turn the little set screws here clockwise a quarter turn, and that'll hold it in position, and that'll complete the job of replacing the side engine mount on a 2005 through 2010 Honda Odyssey. I'm Brian Essick from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos, encourage you to subscribe, invite you to head over to the howtoautomotive.com website for more valuable videos like this, and also to remind you that I will link up all the parts and tools that I used in this video in the description. That way, if you're interested in any of that, you can find it there. Thank you again for watching.